The laughter came first. Soft, confident, careless, the kind that assumes it belongs in the room. No one noticed the men standing near the wall until that moment. The black CEO's father, hands folded, wearing a suit that still felt unfamiliar on his shoulders, wasn't there to speak. He was there to support his son. In the next few seconds, that simple presence would turn a billion-dollar celebration into a silent reckoning. He had arrived early, walking slowly through the glass lobby, amazed by how far his son had climbed. Years of early mornings, missed birthdays, and quiet sacrifice had led to this deal. The white billionaire family hosting the meeting greeted everyone with polished warmth, but their eyes slid past him like he was part of the furniture. Introductions were made. His name was barely acknowledged. Someone whispered a joke about staff wandering into the wrong room. Another laughed louder than necessary. The words were wrapped in humor, but the message was clear. You do not belong here. The father stayed still. He had learned long ago that dignity didn't need defense. His back remained straight. Face showed nothing. But across the table, his son saw it all. Noticed the way the room shifted around his father. How respect vanished the moment money thought it was untouchable. The CEO's expression didn't change, but his attention did. The numbers on the screen blurred. Promises of growth and headlines meant less with every passing second. The billionaire patriarch continued confidently, outlining control, influence, and future dominance. He spoke as if the deal was already done. Every sentence assumed agreement. Every smile assumed obedience. The CEO listened, nodding, playing the role expected of him. Inside, a different calculation was taking place, one that had nothing to do with profit. When the meeting paused for confirmation, the CEO didn't respond right away. He looked toward the wall, toward his father, toward the men who had taught him what success was supposed to mean. And in that silence, something irreversible began to form. The silence stretched longer than anyone expected. Papers rustled. Someone cleared their throat. Billionaire family exchanged quick looks, confident the pause meant leverage, not resistance. Patriarch leaned forward, smiling as if he were doing a favor. He reminded the room of what was on the table: capital, access, power. He spoke about how rare it was for an opportunity like this to come around, especially for a company that, in his words, was still proving itself. The CEO listened carefully. His face remained calm, almost unreadable. Inside, memories surfaced without permission. His father working double shifts, teaching him to show up early, speak less, and never let anyone reduce him to what they assumed. CEO realized this moment was not about business strategy. It was a test of who he was when the stakes were highest. The billionaire's daughter tried to smooth the atmosphere, laughing lightly, calling the earlier remarks harmless. Just jokes. No need to be sensitive. The word hung in the air. Sensitive. The CEO finally leaned forward, folding his hands. His voice was steady, respectful, and quiet enough that everyone had to listen. He thanked them for the offer, acknowledged the numbers. Then he spoke about partnership, about trust, about how every deal reflected the values behind it. Eyes narrowed. Smiles stiffened. This wasn't the script they expected. He turned slightly, gesturing toward his father without naming him. He said that success meant nothing if it required someone to stand smaller so others could feel larger. That respect wasn't an add-on, it was the foundation. The room shifted uncomfortably. Someone tried to interrupt. CEO raised a single finger, not in anger, but finality. He said the deal would not move forward under these terms, or any terms like them. Not today, not in the future. The words landed hard. Chairs creaked. The billionaire patriarch's smile disappeared, replaced by disbelief. He reminded the CEO what he was walking away from. The CEO nodded, acknowledging the call. And he stood. In that moment, the power in the room changed hands. The walk out of the building was quiet. No cameras, no statements, just a father and son moving side by side through a space that suddenly felt smaller than it had minutes before. Outside, the city noise rushed back in, indifferent and honest. The father stopped near the curb, visibly shaken, and apologized. He said he never meant to be a distraction, never wanted to be the reason anything fell apart. He's carried decades of learning how to take blame that was never his. The CEO turned to him and shook his head. Slowly, firmly, he told him this wasn't about a deal. It was about a line that couldn't be crossed. Everything he had built came from the values his father taught him, not the money anyone offered. Father looked away, overwhelmed, and nodded. Nothing more needed to be said. Inside the boardroom, the billionaire family scrambled. Calls were made. Explanations drafted. Underestimated how fast word travels when respect is violated. By the next morning, analysts were buzzing. Some called the decision reckless, others called it emotional. The CEO didn't respond. He didn't need to. Quietly, something else began to happen. Emails arrived. Then calls. Investors who had watched the situation closely reached out, not with bigger numbers, but with alignment. Partners who valued integrity over dominance saw opportunity where others saw ego. The company didn't collapse. It stabilized, and it grew. Longer than before, the billionaire family eventually issued an apology. Private. Careful. Too late. Their reputation took a hit they couldn't buy their way out of. The story followed them, not as a scandal, but as a reminder that wealth doesn't excuse disrespect. Meanwhile, the CEO returned to work, focused, steady, unchanged. Deal he walked away from faded into memory. At home, the father sat at his kitchen table, hands wrapped around a warm cup, pride settling where embarrassment had tried to live. He didn't ask for recognition. He didn't need it. He had watched his son choose dignity when it mattered most, and in the end, that choice became the most valuable deal of all.